Hello. Hi everyone. Let's see, just trying to make sure everything is working correctly. Da 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 da. Welcome. Today is Art Lab Day. Hooray, hooray. Okay, it does seem to be working. Awesome. Okay, welcome friends. Thanks so much for joining me. My name is Alex. I work for the St. Johns County Public Library System, and we are recording this live. It is a Wednesday afternoon. There we go. So we're going to have the next couple of minutes for people to join, find the feed, get ready. So for those of you watching in the future after this has already been recorded, hello. Okay, we do have some friends joining in. Okay, wonderful. Hi everyone. Hello, hello. Oh man. Okay, so have any of you who are here early, have any of you heard of the artist that we are learning about today? Her name is Yayoi Kusama, and she is Japanese, and she's still living. She's 91 years old. Have you guys heard of her before? She does some really, really cool stuff. I can't wait to show you. What kind of art have you all been making recently? What have you been working on? I know you've been doing some crafty, artsy stuff at home, right? Let's see. Please feel free to say hello in the comments, check it out, share it if you'd like to invite your friends and family to watch with you. Let me see, I'm just going to see if I can share the feed real quick also. Do. Yay, okay, let's see. Anybody joining us? Hooray. Good, I see. Okay, good. We do have people joining in. Awesome. For just a sec. Okay. Very cool. Let's see. I've been doing some more watercolors recently. They're my favorite right now. I painted an apple and an avocado a couple of days ago. What have you guys been up to? Maybe some painting? Maybe just markers and crayons? It's almost time for us to get ready. But for those of you who joined the feed a couple minutes early, I'm going to show you two books that I'm going to mention today. Little Dreamers, Visionary Women Around the World. And then Women in Art, 50 Fearless Creatives Who Inspired the World. There are a ton of different female artists and amazing ladies in both of them, and Yayoi Kusama happens to be in both books because she's that cool. All right. We are going to get ready to get started. It is very nearly 1:30 as we are recording this live. For those of you who are using Read Squared, which is our online summer reading program, please download it to your phone or to your device if you haven't already, and log those minutes that you're reading and get a chance at winning some cool prizes. The secret code for today is, excuse me, oh no, I didn't write it down. Just kidding. It's going to be in the comments for you. Thought I wrote it in my planner. Whoops. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Welcome everybody, welcome to another exciting Kids Art Lab. Today we're gonna go ahead and switch over to that. Here we go. Today's artist is Yayoi Kusama, and she is pretty amazing. That is her. She was born in 1929, and that is some of her artwork behind her. Looks pretty interesting, isn't it? She's also wearing some art on her clothing. She made those clothes as well, and she's wearing her iconic wig, her awesome red wig in that photo too. She looks like a pretty interesting person, doesn't she? So Yayoi's background. She was born in Matsumoto, Japan, and was the youngest of 4 children. Her mother did not want her to become an artist, though, unfortunately. She started to paint when she was about 10 years old, so the age that she is in that photo to the right. But because her mother didn't want her to do it, it was difficult for her to pursue that passion. Her mom even went so far as to take away her art supplies. So she started to create art just with items that she found outside with nature. She did eventually go to art school in Japan, but the type of art that she was more interested in and more drawn to, which was more abstract, did not go along with the traditional Japanese art that she was taught in art school. So, after writing to some famous artists in the US, including Georgia O'Keeffe, do you guys remember Georgia? We talked about her in one of our other art lab classes. She wrote to Georgia O'Keeffe, who suggested that Yayoi come to the US. So she did. She moved to first Seattle and then settled in New York City, where she said, "I would stand up to them all with a single polka dot." What? You will see why she said that in just a couple of minutes. So she got to New York City in 1958. On the right, there is a photo of her in front of the city. And then 1959, she began painting huge paintings that she called nets. They were large-scale paintings. One of them was even like 33 feet long, with tiny itsy-bitsy details, most often polka dots, actually. So she created her first infinity room. You're going to see some photos of those in just a couple of minutes. In 1965, and it was a brand new kind of art. So it confuses but delights the viewers. It's something so totally different from like a flat piece of art. You'll see why. The 15 years that she was in New York City, she created a ton of art. Moving to New York City really inspired her and allowed her to push outside the boundaries of what was considered art at the time. While she was there, she also influenced famous artists all over the city, including, wait for it, Andy Warhol. Do you guys know who that is? Andy Warhol. He's super duper famous. You have probably seen his paintings of maybe Marilyn Monroe or the Campbell soup can, but he was inspired by Yayoi Kusama. Pretty cool. She moved back to Japan in the 1970s and was almost completely forgotten about by the art world until 1993 when she was featured in an art show, and then her career took off again, and since 1993, she has been creating a lot of artwork. She has a studio in Tokyo, very near where she lives, and she even has her own museum, completely dedicated to her art. And when we say art, this is a little bit different from any of the art labs that we've done before. Yayoi was an artist of many different kinds. Let's look at some in just a second. Okay, so on the right-hand side of the screen here, we have the U.S. We are at the bottom of the U.S. there on the far right-hand side in Florida. And then across the Pacific Ocean is Japan. And Tokyo is where Yayoi currently lives. So, what is abstract art? Do you guys remember? It's art that does not show the external or outside reality. So I'm looking at this glass jar, and if I am painting it in an abstract fashion, it's not going to look exactly like that. It's going to express the artist's view of reality through colors and shapes and textures. So you might get the idea of the glass jar and the pink straw, but it's not going to look exactly like it. Add some different texture, colors, shapes, and in Yayoi's situation, might not even be flat on a canvas. So, Yayoi focuses a lot on repetition. Yayoi has always struggled with her mental health, and repetition is something that has helped calm her down. So sometimes when we're upset, doing something repeatedly like this, like doing lots and lots of different polka dots or something small and calming, helps us. So she took that to a grand scale, and she does large paintings like the ones that are behind her, as well as some of the installations or infinity rooms that we will see. See, she takes it right off the canvas. This is Yayoi when she was much younger. She is wearing an outfit covered in polka dots, and she even covered the horse in polka dots. She did a lot of events around New York City that took art out of the museums and dropped them into like the middle of the street. It got her in the newspaper, and it brought art out to people who would not normally experience it. Made it more accessible, which is lovely, I think. You don't have to pay to go into a museum to see art. It's just around you. So Yayoi has said, "My artwork is an expression of my life." And it truly, truly is. Starting from a very young age. So this one was drawn, when she was 10 years old. It's just pencil on paper, but you can already see those dots that she talks about. This is a drawing, not a painting, a drawing of her mother. And it's really beautiful. I don't think it looks like a 10-year-old drew it, but she has those polka dots that really inspired her entire career as an artist in it. So we'll see how it follows here. We've still got the idea of dots here in this untitled piece of artwork from 1962. So this is actually made of cardboard egg cartons, cotton batting, oil, ink, and thread, because she sewed this onto the canvas and created it soon after arriving in New York City. She was experimenting with free materials. So think about it. She was an artist who arrived in New York City with very little money, didn't really have money for traditional art supplies, expensive oil paints, canvas, that sort of thing. So she scavenged things like egg cartons and created something amazing from that. And this particular piece of artwork has sold for millions and millions of dollars. We're going to take a little bit of a closer look at it here. That's up close what it looks like. So, it looks a little odd. So up close you see it's kind of messy. We've got all of those dots, but from far away, you really get that idea of polka dots, and you can kind of get lost in it, which was intentional on Yayoi's part. Okay. So, fast forward to 2013, and this is one of Yayoi's most famous pieces of artwork. This is The Souls of Millions of Light Years Away. It is a room made from mirrors and lights. It is one of her infinity rooms, which takes away your sense of space because of all the mirrors. So when you normally walk into a room, you can tell how big it is, right? You see the walls. But if that room is covered with mirrors and everything inside the room is just repeated on and on and on and on, you can't really tell where the room ends because they're repeating in every single direction. So she hung LED lights in this room of mirrors. And so you walk into it and it's like you're surrounded by stars that are millions of light years away. I think it's amazing. I'm going to show you a picture that gives you a better idea. This is that same room, the infinity room. Wow. Right? Someone just said, wow, that's amazing. It is. And what's interesting, too, about these infinity rooms is once you walk into them, it's not just the mirrors and the lights that are a part of the artwork. You, the viewer, become a part of it, too. Because look, you can see this man who's standing in here, repeated in every direction. Look to the right, to the left, behind him, in front of him, all over the place. So interesting and so different from just a painting hanging on the wall, right? Okay, 2017. So this was created just a couple of years ago in 2017. It's another room, but instead of utilizing mirrors in this room, the room is covered with faux or fake flowers, flower stickers, and furniture. It looks like a normal living room, right? So what's fun and interesting about this one is because Yayoi did not put the flowers up herself in this one. She invites visitors to take part in the art and really interact with it by putting up the flowers and the flower stickers themselves. So the people who go and visit Flower Obsession, they're given either a faux flower or a sticker, and they can choose where to put it. They have a piece of this. They own a piece of this artwork. Isn't that interesting? So it does, though, still have a similar repetition of the colors and the shapes that Yayoi uses. So you can't really tell from far away that these are flowers necessarily. They still look like polka dots, which is what she's known for. This is a wider picture so you can really get the effect of all of those flowers all over the walls and on the stickers as well. Now, Yayoi went on to even create experimental films. She has her own fashion line. She's partnered with famous designers as well to create items that have her iconic polka dots on them. So she really has had a part in almost every part of the art world. I just think that's fabulous, don't you? Okay, 2016. This title is All the Eternal Love I Have for Pumpkins. Yayoi's favorite subject is the pumpkin, and specifically these pumpkins that have polka dots all over them. They're very graphic, they're very bright, and the shapes are very curvy, organic, and interesting. And this infinity room still is surrounded by mirrors, and then it's got those almost fluorescent pumpkins with the polka dots all over the place, which are then reflected all over the mirrors. So for this infinity room, she has visitors go in one at a time. So there's just one person standing in the room, and you stay in there for 1 full minute and look around and take it in. You can't tell how big the room is, how small the room is. It repeats for eternity. So throughout her artwork, throughout her life, she really focused on that idea of infinity and what that really means. What do you think? Infinity. It goes on and on and on. She also did some pumpkin sculptures like this. And this is the artwork that we are going to kind of recreate today for our project. So these are really, really big pumpkin sculptures. So one of the things that Yayoi has said is, I am just another dot in the world. So that's interesting. You walk into one of her installations or one of her infinity rooms, and you become another dot in her world of lights and polka dots and mirrors. I think that's pretty cool. Okay, there are 2 books that the library owns specifically that include Yayoi Kusama, and that is Little Dreamers right here. It's on the left-hand side of the screen, but I'm going to just open this up real quick and show you the page that she is on. Ta-da! Artist, Japan, USA. This also has a bunch of other amazing women dreamers throughout time. The other one is Women in Art, 50 Fearless Creatives Who Inspired the World. That's this book right here. And I love the way this book is laid out. It's got some really cool illustrations with information pretty much everywhere. All around the border of the page. It's even got the pumpkins we were talking about. Definitely worth checking out from the library. You can put it on hold for our catalog. Women in Art and Little Dreamers, Visionary Women Around the World. paper, some cardboard, and tape, markers, however you want to do it is fine. I'm going to show you how I worked on it. So let's go ahead and swap over. Awesome. And thank you, wonderful. So we've got links to those books in the comments of this video as well on Facebook. So to create our infinity room, we are going to start with some cardboard. So I went ahead and I cut out squares. I think these were about 5-inch squares of cardboard. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 cardboard squares. I also cut out 4 squares of this really, really bright paper. These are folded together, but they don't have to be. You can cut out 4 distinct squares. So these are kind of going to be the wallpaper. Whoop. Oh, the color isn't quite picking up. There we go. Super duper bright, fluorescent. These are going to be like the wallpaper of your cube room. So 4 squares of cardboard, 4 squares of paper. I taped them together. I used just some duct tape on the outside, and then I covered the rest of it with duct tape too, so that the outside of my little infinity cube is covered. So we did 3 in a row, 1, 2, 3, and then 1 on top. And then they come up together to become a little room. And that's going to be the base of our infinity cube. So cool. We do that and we set it aside because now we need to make our pumpkin. So we're going to get out the Play-Doh, or you can use Model Magic or air dry clay, whatever you have, but I figured that most people probably at least have some Play-Doh at home. Do you? You could even make clay if you wanted from flour. So I'm going to start with my ball of Play-Doh, and I'm going to roll it out. I'm going to roll it out into a snake. Into a really long cylinder, okay? We're gonna roll, 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 roll. Because I need 5 pieces that I'm going to join together to become my pumpkin. So you can move your hand further along to get it to slim out some. Make it longer and longer and longer. See how it's growing? Alright, while I'm doing this, can you guys comment and tell me what your favorite piece of artwork is? What is your favorite piece of artwork that you have created? Or maybe tell me what your favorite materials to use are in artwork. We've seen from what Yayoi has done that it doesn't necessarily have to be paint on a piece of paper or paint on a canvas. We can make artwork through clothing. We can make artwork through sculpture, like what we're going to do today. We can use lights and mirrors to create artwork. I just think that's so inspiring. All right, cool. I think this is going to work just fine. I've got a really long piece of Play-Doh now, and I need to cut it into about 5 pieces. So let me see here. Whoop. I forgot my Play-Doh knife, so I'm going to go ahead and use my little pen to do that. So 1, and 2. And roll, 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 roll. And 3, 4, 5. There we go. They remind me of little pieces of candy. 3, 4, and 5. We're going to take these 5 pieces of Play-Doh and we are going to arrange them in the shape of a star. Okay? You guys know how to make a star? How many points does a star have? 5. That's right. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. We're going to join our pieces together at the bottom. You can kind of pinch them together, press them down. And then we're going to bring them up all together to create our pumpkin. This is going to be a tall pumpkin. So I'm going to pinch them together. Here we go, and kind of roll it gently now so we don't squish it, but just gently enough that everything forms together and there aren't any gaps. Here we go. And this is what we've got so far. I'm going to set that off to the side here. See my nice tall pumpkin. Next, I'm going to use some black Play-Doh. And we don't need very much of this. So I've got my little small one. I'm going to roll it into a ball first, and then, whoa. Do you guys hear that helicopter? And I'm going to roll this into a really skinny little snake. Okay, I'm going to pinch a little bit from the top because I need the top of my pumpkin here. And just gently press down. Okay, and the rest of it, we're going to take itty bitty little pieces. You can just use your fingernail. Hello. We can use our fingernail and then press it down to create a little polka dot. There we go. And we're going to do the same thing over and over and over again. Here we go. Now, don't make all of your polka dots the same size. We can make some small ones and then some really bigger ones and put them all over our pumpkin, okay? Here we go. I just put a little bit on my fingertip and I press down with my other one and then gently press it onto our pumpkin. There we go. Okay. Now you would just cover your whole pumpkin with these dots. But it's starting to sprinkle just a little bit. So I'm just going to cover the front of my pumpkin. Cool. And set it aside. I'll save this for later. And then on our paper, we need to also make some dots. So you can do dots of all sizes all over your paper, okay? You can use a Sharpie or any kind of washable marker or even crayons if you would prefer. You can make this work with any materials that you happen to have at home. Okay, now you're going to want to do that with all 4 sides of your paper. Okay, and then we are going to go ahead and put everything all together, okay? Whoop. So, I'm going to put my paper in like so. I have some double-sided tape that I'm going to add to it as well. But it's really starting to rain, so I'm going to skip that part for right now. And then we add our pumpkin. Et voila! We have the beginning of one of our very own infinity cubes. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm going to wrap this up now. If you can see behind me, it's starting to rain. So I gotta get inside. Thank goodness I have an umbrella over me. So, have a wonderful day, you guys. Have fun with your artwork. If you take some pictures, please, or if you do this artwork, please feel free to take pictures, tag the library so we can see what you're working on. And I would love to see the infinity cubes that you create. All right? Bye now!